I've always been self-employed, creative, entrepreneurial. I have huge ideas. And I've never had unemployment insurance, paid vacation, paid anything, benefits, nothing. On March 13, when COVID-19 became a real reality here, I lost about 80% of my income and had no hope that it would ever come back or when it would come back. So my reaction to that is to take action. I was not going to accept that I was going to be staying at home for eternity and not being able to contribute to the world. So I went out the next day and got a job at a hospital. I became a frontline healthcare worker, and my job was basically to screen staff coming into the hospital, screening them for all the COVID symptoms. After my first shift of asking about 350 staff all those symptoms and questions about traveling and COVID and this and that, I developed a sore throat, which is a COVID symptom. So I couldn't go back to work the next day, and I was at home for 3 weeks. However, during that 3 weeks, I really cultivated my creativity. Some of you know I made a video, a parody video, of a song called Livin' La Vida Loca by Ricky Martin, and I called it Livin' La Vida Loca, living the crazy life, being stuck at home for 3 weeks. So I will share the link with Marge, and all of you can watch that for some amusement. Finally, I was able to get back to work. But before I did that, I was able to teach some students online. I teach piano and horn online. And I also was able to share some of my sound healing energy sessions, helping people relieve stress with customized sound. And the other thing I did with those 3 weeks off was that I woke up early and I wrote poems every day. So I wrote this poem. It's called Deemed Non-Essential. What is it like when you're deemed non-essential? During an unforeseen pandemic torrential? Well, even though I want to, I'm told not to work, not to see students, and instead go berserk. So much creative energy all by myself, told to follow the rules, stuff it or else. I tried to rehearse with some colleagues online, but it doesn't really work with the delay in time. So here I am, an entrepreneurial spirit, not making music because no one will hear it. So while people are home in their isolation, the arts stream free, providing consolation. But what about artists with diminishing funds? Because the work they do is in person for someone. Artists overlooked, funding businesses instead. Unless I'm the $50,000 a year payroll, I stay in dread. Dread of how there is so much potential to contribute to society if I were only essential. The $2,000 a month assistance, lots of artists applied. You might think all self-employed would qualify. Needing to not having received income for 14 days. The rules make sense but leave many dismayed. If a job fraction remains, it's now a source of remorse. Many artists have varying jobs and income sources. I follow the orders while my funds deflate, and others get the free art they appreciate. So what do you think happens when we can finally get to go to events and concerts socially? Will people want to? Will they have the means to pay? Or will they prefer free art and culture from COVID days? I can tell you from my isolation period that now that I'm back to work as a crisis response frontline healthcare worker in Toronto, I'm having a blast. I love being in long-term care homes with COVID outbreaks. I know that might seem strange, but I'd like to share how my experience working with sound as a musician has helped me with resiliency and creativity in helping others through this bizarre pandemic. So I have 5 things I'd like to share with you, and it spells out the word sound. So each letter stands for something. S is for stay present. I have performed in so many situations where weird, bizarre things have happened in the performances. One time I was on stage, my horn malfunctioned, and I was the only person playing my part. So I literally had to get someone else to play their horn for my part while I went off stage to get another spare horn off the bat. I mean, it was ridiculous. And the thing with live performing arts is that unexpected things happen. It's important to stay present. What's happening in this moment right now is really all that we can take care of. As a frontline healthcare worker, the greatest contribution that I can give is to be fully present to who is in front of me in that moment that I have them right in front of me. It's one person at a time, it's one day at a time, and it's 1 week at a time. So I ask you, how can you stay present? Maybe you've already started checking your phone. Maybe you've already looked away. I can't tell. I'm not in the room with you, unfortunately. I really wish I were. But how can you stay present here in this moment? And how can some moment later today, can you stay present to hold space for somebody or connect with someone, even just a brief moment of eye contact or a smile that could really make a difference? That's S. Sound. O is for be outstanding. I learned really early on as a musician that if I wanted to have a career as a musician, I had to be outstanding, and I needed to be outstanding all of the time. Otherwise, there would be someone else that could do it better and get the job instead of me. So to survive in the gig economy, I need to consistently provide excellent performance. If I have one bad performance, especially if it's captured on video, that can eliminate me from future playing opportunities. Thankfully, I have had the opportunity to bring my outstanding performance attitude into my healthcare work. The actual job description of what I have is quite mundane and boring, but I've gone above and beyond my expected duties to take risks, to be thrown into unexpected situations, and to be in long-term care homes with COVID outbreaks. I bring joy and enthusiasm to the staff by saying, "Welcome to work!" and "Thank you for being here today. What you do matters." I take that 40 seconds while they are putting on the mask that I'm handing them to have eye contact, to get them to smile before they put their mask on and stay masked for the rest of the day. And to me, that matters. That's how I can be outstanding in the work that I'm doing, and they can then be outstanding in the work that they're doing because they know somebody noticed them and somebody cares. So I ask you, how can you be outstanding today? Even if you're not feeling great, even if you're not happy about your situation, how can you be outstanding in something that you're doing? Because if you bring joy to somebody else, that can come back to you and you will feel even more joy than you thought possible. Sound. S-O-U. U is for understand what's needed and take action. Some of you know that I, before COVID, had been hosting for the last 3 years clearly musical home concerts in my living room. And these concerts sometimes featured me performing, but most often they were featuring other performers, other instruments, a whole variety of concerts. With a small audience, my rental house living room is quite small, so they're small, intimate concerts. Well, one Friday night, it was raining heavily. I got home at 4:30, and I found out that my basement had flooded. I wouldn't say completely, but it was disgusting. It was flooded and there was sewer backup. It was 4:30 p.m. and the concert musicians were coming at 6:30 p.m. I understood what was needed. I have to find a new location for my concert right now. So I literally put on my boots, my rain jacket, and started wandering up and down Yonge Street knocking on the doors of churches. Thankfully, God bless them, the Richmond Hill Presbyterian Church opened their doors to me. I probably looked like a wet kitten, rambling about how there was a concert, and I needed a piano, and they were coming in a few hours, and I needed to have a concert. They totally saved the day. They let me have the concert there. I was able to email everybody and tell the musicians, text the musicians to come to a new location. I put a poster on the door with a map of how to get to the Presbyterian Church, and the concert went on. In this pandemic, sometimes we don't know what's needed until we're in the situation. And if you can understand what's needed in the moment that you're in it, that will be really amazing for you. I ask you, how can you understand what you need right now? And is there someone you can ask for help? My sister taught me years ago that the best way to make a friend is to ask for help. Because if I ask someone for help and that person genuinely wants to help me, they feel really good about being of service, and I get the help that I need. And that brings us closer together. So it's a win-win. So understand what's needed and ask for help. Sound. N is for negotiate. As I told you, I've been self-employed for 20 years. This hospital contract is the first time I think I've ever had an employee number. That's bizarre. However, in the gig economy, every contract is a negotiation. There are absolutely no guarantees on rates of pay. I don't have an hourly wage. Everything is a negotiation. What someone paid me last year for a gig is not necessarily what I'm going to be paid this year. People ask me often, how much do you charge for playing piano for 1 hour at this party? And my question is, well, where is it? Where is the party? How long is the party? What kind of music do you want me to play? Do you want me to recruit other musicians and rehearse with them? Am I rehearsing with somebody that you know? When are the rehearsals? There are so many questions that go into every contract that there is no template. There is no standard of anything. So in this pandemic, I just want to mention that you have negotiating power. What was before is not necessarily what is now. So I encourage you to think about how you can negotiate for what you want and what you need, and how you can balance that out with what someone else wants and what they need. This could be in your personal relationships. It could be in your work situation. If a workplace wants you to go back to work and you're not feeling comfortable going back to work, it's a negotiation. And if you negotiate with respect and connection and honest communication and hearing the other person's point of view, you can find a win-win situation where hopefully you're both happy with the result. In sound, D is for do it anyway. There have been times where I have worked with difficult musicians. I have not enjoyed working with them. The concert goes on. Whatever happens backstage, you may never know. If you're attending a concert and you think it was a fabulous concert, you may never know the arguments and the weirdness and all the stuff that happens backstage before you witness that concert. Same thing with theater. People are vomiting backstage, having anxiety. They go on stage and they act the part in the show. The show goes on. So I just encourage you that with whatever difficulties you're experiencing now, or if you're having the time of your life like I sort of am, just do it anyway. This is totally new for me, working in healthcare, wearing PPE all day long in the heat with a long-term care home that has somewhat of a broken air conditioner. And I'm doing it anyway because it's my life right now. It doesn't have to be my life forever. And it's how I can contribute to making the world a better place today. So thank you all for being here. I wish I could see your lovely faces as I'm giving this talk. And certainly keep in touch. Let me know what your thoughts are if I've inspired you in some way. And thanks so much.